Hi, I'm Jimster71 and in this video we'll be taking a look at the PSVR version of action RPG Shadow Legend VR to see if it's actually legendary or if it should just stay in the shadows. So don't go anywhere. Shadow Legend comes from developers Vitruvius VR and is available on the PSN store for $24.99 in the US, €24.99 in Europe, and around £19.99 in the UK. The developers have provided me with a copy of the game, but have had no influence over my opinions on it. The game has made the jump from PC to PSVR, and brought with it a couple of new areas to explore, some additional polish to the game mechanics, and PS4 Pro enhancements, and that's the console I've been playing it on. You need a couple of Move controllers to play the game, but the 3D rudder is also supported. There are lots of comfort and locomotion options, so you should be able to find a setup that works for you, regardless of your VR tolerance level. With all that out the way, what's the game actually about? Well, in true RPG style, you play as the Grandmaster of the Knights Templar, who is the chosen champion of your home kingdom of Anaria. Unfortunately, Anaria is having a bit of a bad time of it, with an impending war against self-proclaimed God of Darkness, Lord Adaroth, and his army of undead warriors. As you've probably guessed, it's your job to send Lord Adaroth packing and save the souls of the undead along the way. The game takes place over a number of different self-contained areas. In each of these, you have a shopping list of tasks to complete. Some tasks are required for you to access the next level, and will be things like talking to a particular character, solving a required puzzle, or offing the bad guys. The optional tasks have you doing things like fixing a broken sword, feeding a horse, or maybe playing fetch with a castle dog. The game's got plenty of these VR interaction mini-games, which serve to add some variety to the game, flesh out the game world, and also pad out the playtime a bit. Each area also has a number of Rune Stones to collect. Some of these are easily picked up, but others are in tricky to reach areas, hidden in treasure chests, or only revealed upon completion of the required puzzle. You'll also find coins and treasure dotted around, which you need to collect in order to trade for items and weapons with a couple of merchants that you'll find in the game. Like the Rune Stones, some of these riches are more difficult to find than others. It did feel a bit odd picking this stuff up at times, especially when it was right under the nose of other characters, but that's RPG game logic for you, I guess. You're able to haggle with the merchants to get a better price, but it feels a bit superfluous when you can always get around the same 10% improvements on their first offer.
It's a reasonable offer. I accept, Grandmaster. Here are your coins.
There's a good selection of weapons in the game, with swords, bows, staffs and axes available. Some of these have magical abilities, like freezing or poisoning enemies. My personal favourite was a God of War style throwing axe that you could recall back to your hand. A good throw could get you 2 hits on an opponent, once on the way out, and again on the way back. The enemies you encounter are mostly undead soldiers or animated skeletons. Close combat with them is via a block and parry system, and it works really well. Controller tracking was mostly good, with even the two-handed bow and arrow being very usable, and bows and arrows are always really fun to use in VR. After you manage to get several hits on an opponent, you'll see a cut here type line. Hitting that will enable you to lop off an arm or a head. Being able to slice an enemy in half and then take the head off as the torso flew through the air was quite a nice touch. It did get a bit Monty Python-esque though at times, when you cut both arms off an enemy and they were still trying to kick you into submission. 'Tis but a flesh wound. Any damage you take will reduce your health total, which can be restored via health potions or cooking and eating food. When cooking food you have to be careful that you don't burn it, since you can't gain any health from that. You get a handy voice prompt to tell you when your health is low, so you should never get caught out, even if you do forget to keep checking it. And even if you do die in the game, the penalty is usually minimal, since there's plenty of checkpoints throughout. During the story, you'll also have a couple of boss battles to complete. These take the tried and tested boss battle formula of repeatedly trying to hit a weak spot over a few rounds, dodging or blocking their attacks, until you eventually defeat them. These battles added a nice bit of variety to the game though. Once you defeat an enemy, you have a special flaming torch that you use to collect their soul, and these souls can be traded in to increase your health total or how much damage you can do with ranged or melee weapons. Overall, whilst the combat was fun, it was generally a bit on the easy side, and I would have liked to have seen the difficulty ramp up a bit more, or maybe have a setting in the options. On the PS4 Pro, the graphics were very good. Some of the human character modelling isn't as good as bigger budget titles, but environment, items, weapons and visual effects were all spot on, and there's a good variation between the different locations. Sound was similarly well done, all the characters are voice acted, even if it could be a bit wooden at times. Combat sounds and environmental audio are all good and help to maintain the atmosphere. Overall, I think it's definitely a game worth looking at, especially if you're a fan of the genre. There's plenty to do without it getting repetitive, and if you complete all the optional tasks in each area, you're probably looking at around 5 or 6 hours of gameplay going through the story. There's a number of trophies to pick up, including a platinum, so there's some replay value in there too. I enjoyed playing through it, and considering the very small development team, it's really impressive what they've managed to put together. I've been Jimster71, thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, a dislike if you didn't, but don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until then, bye for now.